yourself. That's how you convince yourself of it. But some of you are so new at this, you're not going to believe what I just said applies to you. You're the exception to the rule, and you're not. Believe me. I didn't think my shit stank when I was 20 years old. I thought I figured it out real quick, real fast, and it was like, oh, the golden child. And I had no idea what I was doing. And nobody could have told me these lessons right now, and I never would have listened. And I know that going into this discussion with you, there are some of you, especially young men, you're not going to receive this message, and you're just putting your fingers in your ears. You're waiting for me to talk about something else. There is nothing else I'm talking about today. This is it. But you need this lesson. You need to know it, because if you don't, and if you don't learn it early on, you won't be in this game long. It won't matter, because you will remove yourself, and you've done it to yourself. It won't be me. It won't be my fault. It won't be my concepts. It won't be somebody else influencing you. It's you. You. Your broker takes orders from you. Everybody else around you may have an influence on you, but still, bottom line and responsibility solely rests on you. You can't blame anyone else but you. That's another reason why this industry is difficult. It's so easy, but it's next to impossible. Because everybody wants to have the credit when it works out in their favor. They want to add a boy, add a girl. They want to champion themselves. They want to pony themselves in front of everybody. Look at this. Look what I did. Look how great I am. Put a thumbs up, like my comment, my post, retweet me. I've done something excellent today. Take notice of me. Look what I've done today. I have done something that is noteworthy. Is that someone that's grounded in what they're doing and they don't need someone else to validate them? No. That's a weak-minded person. That's someone that's an attention whore. That's what that is. I'm accused of that, but I'm not. There's a lot of things that I could show you and do that would be the definition of that. I don't need to do those things. What I do is I do just enough to inspire my students. I'm interested in what you're showing me. That's the exchange here. I teach you. I give you examples to show you what it looks like and it can be done. And then you are to go out there and do it. And then you show me like homework. That's the relationship we have here. I don't view that as attention seeking or clout chasing. You're giving feedback to your mentor. I'm looking for that. I want that. And honestly, I have a lot of user groups in my private mentorship, and I don't have one single user group where one group is just really thriving and they're doing it just like they're afraid. Like they're afraid to be judged by other people in their own group. In a safe, enclosed little area, like I have in a private mentorship forum, they should feel safe. They are not. And that tells you something about their psychology, their viewpoint. They're afraid. And you have to conquer that fear. Put it out there. When you send me something on Twitter, or if you make a video on YouTube and you send me the link, and I watch a lot of videos, as long as they're not really long. I like to see the videos like I create myself, these little vignettes. And you probably hear my stomach ground because I haven't eaten anything. I apologize. But I like that feedback because that means I know you're doing the work and you're taking the lessons like this one and you're applying it to yourself. You're applying it to your trading. And when you do those types of things repeatedly, you're going to get the results you're looking for. You're not going to get it on the timeline that you want. That's the problem. You're all subscribing to the fact that, yes, these things work. Yes, I can do it. And you see other people doing it, but you don't want to subscribe to the idea that it's going to take you a year to get really a full, solid understanding of what a calendar year looks like in trading. That's why I tell you it's going to take you about at minimum of a year. You can learn how to trade in a month and a half, 2 months. You can learn that part of it, but you cannot learn to be a trader anything less than a year. And I don't give a shit who tells you. There's a lot of people out there beating their chest that they're the best, they're the GOAT, they're this, that thing. I don't see their students showing shit. I'm waiting. I'm being real patient before the end of the year, but I'm waiting and I don't see anybody thinking outside the box or profiting in the box. But I could be wrong. We'll see by the end of the year. But these guys out here, they try to influence you. And the only thing I'm trying to do is keep you on the right path. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't take unrealistic risk. Don't expect these models to dance for you when there's no music playing. That's essentially what's being said here. Don't go in immediately after a bank holiday and expect the market to be perfect, symmetrical, everything easy, because it's not likely to be. It can, but it's not likely to be. So don't you really want to focus your time in market environments that are likely to give you gangbuster conditions? That means easy, solid day trading. It's just really easy. It's just like low-hanging fruit. The setup's just laid out in front of you. The easy placement of where a stop loss should be. It's logical, and where it's likely to go is a draw on liquidity. That's what I teach my students. And guess what, folks? That is not an everyday condition. Just because we call it day trading, it is not everyday trading. You have to grow comfortable with not needing to be doing something today. And you see these jokers, Twitter, Instagram. ICT says he doesn't trade on Mondays. No, I can trade on Mondays. I just like to wait and see what Monday does on certain weeks. But they take something I've said in a video or someone repeats, and they'll take it to the extreme. Oh, he doesn't do this, so therefore he's stupid, or he doesn't work, and he doesn't have a profitable system, and he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. That's a fool speaking, pretending to know something, have no idea what they're talking about. And again, ask them to show by contrast. Crickets. So don't invite these other people, whether they're critical of me as your mentor or you as my student. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who cares what any of these people think? Are you going to give this stranger, who you will never meet, the power, the energy, the time of day to even listen to their bullshit? Many of you, it's like flypaper, and you land on it and you can't get away from it. You love the drama, and you're always chasing that drama instead of pouring that energy and time into improving your craft. This is a skill set that you have to work at. You got to keep working at it. And you have to filter out all the bullshit. You got to take the negative stuff and keep it at bay. Don't let it in. If I'm a fraud, you'll know it. If this stuff doesn't work, you're going to know it. You don't need somebody else's opinion. You won't need that. You're going to come away with, wow, this shit really works. Or this is bullshit. It doesn't work. This doesn't even hold up. And all I'm asking is for the people that have a genuine, sincere interest in themselves, not me, in themselves, test drive it. I lay it in your hands for free. I tell you what you have to do, what is likely not to work for you, when not to do something. And if you operate with that in mind, you're still going to lose money, but you're going to see that it works more times than it doesn't. So if it works more times than it doesn't, when doesn't it work? That's the discovery you have to find, because it's you bringing that into it. What you're saying is your method's perfect. The algorithm is perfect. The interpretation that you or me are going to bring to the marketplace that given day or trading session, that's where the error comes in. The market's always right. We are the ones that are incorrect, and we suffer the monetary loss when we are wrong. How hard is that to assume in terms of responsibility? It's something easy, but it's like telling a child, you can't have that lollipop right now. You need to eat dinner first. You have to eat your vegetables. You can't have your pudding until you have your meat. Well, this is one of those lessons that's meat. It's not a milkshake and gumdrops, folks. But this is the stuff that you have to have. It fortifies you. It makes you prepared to endure with this market and any market out there that you're ever going to trade. It's going to give you. Now think about it. This could be 2 or 3 chapters in a book, and you wouldn't want to read these chapters. You'd be going to the parts that have charts and pictures of order blocks and fair value gaps and volume imbalances and BISIs and SIBIs and all those good things. And all that stuff will still cause you to lose money if you don't listen to things like this. Because you have to have boundaries. You have to have limitations. And limitations are not a bad thing. They're not. But you have to be told by someone that operates with them, that benefits from them, and then you have to test drive that too. And it gives you a peace of mind. It gives you clarity. It gives you confidence, a confidence level that you can't really, or I can't really articulate because you have to experience it to know. How do you know when not to trade a specific setup, even though it may look like there's an optimal trade entry, a fair value gap, a shift in market structure? It looks like there's relative equal lows above or below the marketplace. How do you know not to take those trades? How is he able to not be a participant in those moves? Well, it's this. But I don't beat around the bush and lie and sugarcoat and say I'm in every move out there, because there's a lot of moves that I'm not a participant in that were perfect. That just wasn't there to do them. Or I did it wrong. I was looking somewhere else. I paid attention to somebody else's opinion about something. I go in and look at it. That's why I don't like following anybody. It's not arrogance. And last time I was on Twitter, I had people say, oh, look, he's so arrogant. He doesn't follow anybody. What kind of mentor is that? He doesn't follow anybody. Well, I want a mentor that doesn't look for advice in the field that they're trying to be the mentor in. Because if I'm looking for advice, that means I don't have it together. I don't know what I'm doing. Now, I'm not saying that everything I do is perfect and free of imperfection, because I'm not perfect. My trading results are not perfect. I have losing trades. I can do it wrong just like anybody else. But that's the human element in me, where I'm thinking outside of the rules I've placed in there. And every single time I do it, invariably I regret it. But I don't want to follow anyone else. I don't want to be looking at what they're thinking at, because in my mind, and this is going to sound arrogant, but I want you to understand why I do it. If someone shares an idea with me on Twitter, number one, if you're a student, what you're basically saying is if he likes my post about what I think is going to happen in the marketplace, he's really basically giving me a nod saying that's the right way of doing it. And notice that you do that. I don't ever do it. It's not because I don't see you. I see you. It's not because I'm trying to be rude or ignorant. I'm not going to co-sign your trade, because what that's going to do is it's going to build this expectation that, okay, I'm going to rub the magic 8-ball. I'm going to open up Twitter and I'm going to shake my phone and rub it and ask it, does ICT think that this Eurodollar trade is a good buy right here? If he likes it, yes. If he comments and says otherwise, it's no. If he doesn't like it, it's no. And I'm probably going to class the trade. Some of you are laughing right now because you know damn well that's what you're doing. And I'm not going to like your post. I'm not going to co-sign your trade, because guess what it becomes? My trade. And if I can't make money off your trade, I don't want to be a part of it. So don't do those things. And you won't feel like I'm ignoring you, and you won't grow with this measure of expectancy that I'm going to be the oracle that co-signs the validity of your trade setup, because it's not going to happen like that. I don't do it for my private membership group, and I'm sure as hell not going to do it on Twitter. So I don't follow anyone, and I don't like when people pose their analysis to me about something that's unfolding, because I'm immediately, what I'm doing is, this is what I'm really doing when you do that. I'm going in to see what you're doing wrong. Not in the position to correct you, because the market's going to correct you and you have to learn that way. It's impossible for me to field every single question that's ever sent to me by email or even on Twitter or my comment section in the videos. Just look at them. It's too many of them. Can't keep up with it. But if I am posed a question with, this is what I'm doing in trade right now, what do you think about that? Or they'll sometimes throw a comment in there like, learning from the best, ICT. Listen, I don't need that kind of stuff. I appreciate it, but I'm still not going to like your post. I'm not going to high five it. I'm not going to do that because what I'm doing is giving you that little nudge that you're not going to get when you're trading without me around. And that's going to be a day in the future. I don't know when, but it'll happen. And you're going to need to be able to trust yourself. That's the mentor I'm trying to be. I don't want you pushing me above everyone else. I don't want you worshiping me. I don't want you calling me a goat or a king or any of that crap. Be your own king. You want to be a goat? You like being goats and all that stuff? You be a goat. I don't want to be a goat. I want to be just ICT. And I'm a boring middle-aged guy that is very, very content with being what I am. And I like being what I am. And I'm not going to be influenced to change who I am. And when someone sends me something like that, I go in looking for what they're doing wrong. And sometimes that has caused me to go in and take trades. Sometimes fading what you guys are sending me. Now, you don't see those things, even when they are profitable. But that's what goes on in my head. That's how I'm wired. When I see other people and they show their YouTube channel reviews or whatever, maybe they've taken a trade. Maybe that trade was profitable. I'm going in and comparing what I did that day. And I'm measuring myself against that because that's a character flaw in me. So I have to keep that at bay. And I don't allow it in my teaching. Because if it comes out in my teaching, it's not going to give you any benefit because I struggle with it because I believe that I have something better than everyone else. That's my understanding. That's my belief. Okay. Whether anyone else subscribes to that view or not is irrelevant to me because I know what I have and I know what I see and I know what I've been able to work with over the course of my entire life doing all this stuff. But that is also in a person's hands like mine who is obsessively compulsive and a control freak. These are issues that I wrestle with. I'm not going to engage my students like that. Like when I was on Baby Pips, that was me just carrying on, but still teaching. It was a social experiment. I wanted to see, can I basically create the environment that created me? And nobody ever came out of it like I am. I don't have a student that just, transformed into a junior ICT. I don't have anything like that. I have a lady, a woman student rather, that is absolutely amazing in trading. And she works with 3 different models. And I'm telling you, she is so humble and so modest. She's right now, she's wishing I wouldn't even bring her out right now. But I'm just impressed. Like I'm impressed what she's been able to do. And she never wants to draw any attention to herself. She never goes out in social media and reps me. She never says anything. And she's extremely modest when she contacts me. So, and this is a woman that trades with lots of real money. Okay. And how many of those types of students do you hear me say I have? Exactly. Most of my students are young guys that have came through. They wanted to do it easy. They wanted to have it real fast, dollar menu, mentorship with Olympic results, gold medal results, because they want to go out in a hurry out in social media and say, look at me, I'm a beast. Look at me, I'm a goat. I'm this and I'm that. Look at me, worship me. And that's why they're struggling. Not because this stuff doesn't work, because they're in a rush to be something they're not intended to be. And I am not creating that. That's not my intent of teaching, all the things I'm teaching. But I have a lot of profitable students that are quiet about what they're doing. Not many of them are like the lady student I referred to. She's cut from a different cloth. And frankly, she's, it's just a really amazing person, not just in her trading, but just a really nice individual. You wouldn't find anything negative to say about this woman. She's very humble. She's very soft-spoken. But if you saw, if you saw what you could do, oh man, like sometimes she's traded better than me. And I don't have any shame in saying that. Like her entry sometimes was better than mine. Her exits were better than mine. And sometimes she traded in a market that I wasn't interested in. And I'm flattered that she calls me her mentor. I'm blessed and honored that the woman is so aware that what she's learned from came from me, but she doesn't elevate me. And that's exactly what I want from all my students. And I love championing her. I wish she'd give me permission. I wish she would give me permission because I'm telling you right now, I would have her plastered everywhere. And that's what I want my students to be like. I want my students like that. But she knows that's exactly what I intend to do. So she's telling me no because she doesn't want that type of energy around her. But the man in me, the teacher, the guy, the testosterone junkie, okay, I want that. I want to be able to shove that right in the faces of everybody that says you can't learn anything profitable. And from the men that think they're going to be the ones that rule everything, my best student is a woman. Yeah, a lady. And man, I'm telling you what, she's done phenomenally well. She's done very well with articulating what it is that works for her. Not everything resonated with her, but she's found her own way of doing it. And it's amazing to see it. The transformation was amazing. And there was nothing special about this person when she first came to me. Nothing that stood out as this was going to be the one that really stands out. Nothing. Because it was a soft spoken person. Just said lots of questions. What do I do in this situation? How do I avoid this? I'm afraid of this. How do I conquer that fear? And it's everything I taught on this YouTube channel. Think about that. All the things that was required for her to find her niche in this were things that I taught for free on this YouTube channel before 2022 mentorship. Think about that. My best came from what's freely available to you. And I see all these people out there, they're making little videos saying, oh, yeah, this is my opinion of ICT. Don't tell me an opinion until you show me that you traded with it. Because if you're not trading with it, then you didn't do enough work to trust it. Ooh, how's that for logic? See, you like to sit on here and critique other YouTubers and you've never really done anything. When they place themselves out there and say, hey, look, this is how I do something, and you're welcome to try to test drive it and see if it works for you. That's all I do. And for those individuals that go out and they watch a video or two, yeah, I really didn't do his 2022 mentorship, but this is how I do things differently. I look at it this way. This is my spin on ICT. Don't even bring my name up. Don't even do that. That's clickbait. Okay. Usually what's going to happen is my students are going to come in and rip your comment section apart. Okay. And which means that it sounds like we're a cult, and it's not. It's just these are young men and women that are very, very passionate about who they're learning from because they know I'm passionate about them. But I'm also encouraging you not to do those types of things because not only does it look ugly, it looks like I champion that stuff. I don't want any of my students to act like that. So it's lessons like this I want to hopefully ground you, give you the right perspective, explain why certain things are beneficial for you and how certain conditions and environments are going to be harmful to you psychologically, emotionally, and traditionally it's the men, the young guys in here that get themselves in trouble because they are thinking with an adversarial, like a gladiator, a person that wants to go out there and rattle sabers with the next guy out there. And sometimes it's because they feel like they got to defend me, or sometimes they just feel like they want to be a superhero and they want to go out there and challenge the entire world. You are inviting all the wrong kind of energy because here's what's going to happen, folks. Just like it was for me when I was looking at baby pips for, I don't know, it was like a year or so. I was quietly just reading baby pips forums. And to listen to the stuff or really read the stuff that was being talked about on there, it's laughable. Like this stuff that was being promoted by people is garbage. It's literally trash. But there was people still working very diligently to try to make those things work, and they never were working. So I literally sat down. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something I said I wasn't going to do anymore. And I'm going to come out and make myself available to people. But I'm going to have to get something out of this. I'm going to have to do a social experiment and see if there is a way that I can kind of create the same atmosphere that I had when I came up. And I want to see if I can create that like a laboratory experiment. Give them just the right amount of information I had in the order I got it, and see if they were able to see what I was able to see. And again, not one person was able to do that. But I wanted to be the person to come out there and help other people. But I also came out with something of a chip on my shoulder. I was told not to do something. And remember what I said earlier in the video or this discussion? The sign says, stay off lawn. Don't touch wet paint. When I'm told I'm not supposed to do something, I'm going to look for 17 different ways to do it. That's just the way I'm wired. I'm not saying it's an admirable characteristic or trait. It's many times the real reasons why I have anything negative in my life, because I feel like I have to do these types of things. Outwardly, some of you might look at it as, oh, you're attention seeking. No, I have something I got to get off my chest. And I have it. I have it where it's very easily disseminated in the world. But I'm told I can't do certain things. So I try to color outside the lines as much as I possibly can. And then I'm told, don't do that. Don't do this. You better not do that. So I backpedal and I look for different ways to go, again, a different approach, a different strategy, but gets me very, very close to what I feel is an insatiable desire to share. And when I was teaching for free, I'm teaching for free right now, and I don't want to go back to ever teaching for money. But I had so many people say, you know, he only wants to do this for money. Well, I proved that I can make millions of dollars teaching. And I proved that I can put that down because I don't need it. There's a number of individuals out there right now that are teaching. They don't really have a justification for collecting money because what they teach doesn't work and they can't prove they've done anything with it. They, in this situation like I am in, that I am turning away that type of money, they would never even ever entertain that. And why did I do that? Why did I go into the paid mentorship group? Because I know some of this stuff keeps popping up. When I was teaching for free on baby pips, and I was doing it a lot, like every day I was putting up something. I loved it. My wife was like, why are you spending so much time with these people? Like, you're spending all that time. What are you getting out of it? Oh, I got a lot out of it. It was a vent. It was an outlet for me to plug into and download everything that's in my head. And I was really actively trying to see if there was going to be an individual out there that could come up like I did. I wanted to create that Dr. Frankenstein scenario. And I was disappointed that it didn't materialize. Like I worked very hard with some individuals on an individual level, and they know who they are. And some of them actually turned out to be trolls. And that just goes to show that they had the issues, not me, because they were getting hand delivered things down above what I was teaching on baby pips and on my YouTube channel early on. But I didn't go in with the intent of building an audience to sell. I didn't, because I could have done that right from Jump Street. I had 1 million views on my threads. Nobody ever had that many views on baby pips. And that's not bragging, folks. I'm just telling you, think about it. I had the framework to go right into business if I wanted it. But we went to Ocean City one summer, and it was in 2016, actually. And I came back, and I had all these emails from people saying, there's a Middle Eastern guy in a company that's taking your free YouTube videos and selling them. And I'm like, what? And I just kept reading all these emails. It was like everybody discovered that this was going on. And I honestly, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I was fucking pissed off. I got pissed off. It lit a fire under my ass. Like, you son of a bitch. Watch this. You want to do something like that? Okay, no problem. Instantly, I told my wife, I said, I'm about to do something that's probably going to change a lot of people's opinion about me. But if I don't do this, I'm going to lose my mind. So I went right to Twitter. I said, I am not going to teach anything ever again for free. You've been selling my stuff. If anybody's going to collect money on it, I am. And I put the PayPal link up. In 24 hours, I had $80,000. 24 hours, I had $80,000. And it just came in wave after wave after wave after wave. Now, when my wife saw that, she was like, wow, this is, without any advertising at all. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. I never advertised. And I got all kinds of threats. And I knew I was right over my target. Because why are they going to buy anything from anybody else when the real McCoy's doing it? And that's how I grew. It was not by any fraud. Everything I've done in front of people. I've said, this is where the market's going to go. This is what it's going to do. This is why it should work. And this is why people were in my mentorship and stayed. The ones that couldn't do it, couldn't afford it, or they found someone leaking it and selling it to them for cheaper. And that's the reality of it, folks. And no matter what I do, someone's going to be out there trying to twist it and make it a way for them to make money with it that wouldn't be in agreement with me. It's like anything. Pay-per-view events, they make their little channels on, it used to be like Periscope, and I can't think of the other thing, but you know what I'm talking about. When people, they can't afford to pay the live event, like it's a boxing event or something like that, somebody will put it up there and say, hey, just tip me $5 and you can watch it from my stream. It doesn't matter. I mean, that stuff's always going to go on. I'm not going to be the exception to that. And if I'm a hot commodity, which in trading and Forex and such, I am. And I'm not beating my chest, but I did this with the intent of doing it for free forever. But I got pissed off. I did it. And then I said, well, I'm not going to advertise. And I did say I'm going to do it and close it. And then I had all these other people saying, hey, let's join. I want to join. You didn't give me the opportunity. And for a few years, I felt bad. So I opened it up and I finally said, this is it, because it's become too many people. I can't even manage having any more people than I already have. It's next to impossible to manage. And I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the truth, folks. Okay. Listen to me. This is why you can trust. I am never, ever, 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 ever putting that PayPal link out there and saying, join my mentorship again, because I can't give the level of service on an individual basis like some of my students already want and they expect and knew damn well they would never be able to get that from me. You can't. Nobody has enough time in the day to be able to do that. Let's just say you had 500 students, and I have shit tons more than that. Let's say you had 500 students, and all of them are emailing you 2 or 3 questions a day. And believe me, that's low end. How much time do you have in a day doing everything else you do as a husband or a wife, a father, an employee, because most of you probably have a job, or if you have a business, or if you're in school? How much time do you have to sit down and just do 1,500 replies? Now, you're not just opening the email and right away giving a reply. You got to listen to them. You got to read it. You got to figure out where they're coming from and then articulate a manner of response to them that is going to be meaningful and useful to them. Now, do that with hundreds of thousands of people. Think about that. Do you know anybody that could easily sit down and say, yeah, that's accomplished with this, that, and the other thing? I could do that. I could have a team of people, and it still wouldn't help me because the brain trust is me. I can't give the responsibility of answering their questions to someone else. So I can tell you this is the reality of it all. They are part of a community that I outlined beforehand where I think the market's going to go. That's the only benefit that they have. You cannot join that. In the YouTube on the mentorship stuff that I'm doing on YouTube, that's for free. I'm teaching you what it is that I use to give them that insight. They have already been taught that. But the advantage is I'm co-signing before it happens. I tell them where it's going. Now, a lot of you want that, but I'm telling you, you don't need it. You don't need that. There's a lot of people that wishes they didn't join my paid mentorship and knew I was going to do what I was doing right now, because they wouldn't have spent the money, and it would be a lot easier for them to be lazy and say, well, at least I didn't pay for it and I can just do it whenever I want to, and it's there on YouTube. You're not going to hear a mentor talk like that about their own service, but I'm honest. But I'm also that same mentor that could easily come in there and start making millions of dollars every single month. Yeah, month. And I don't want it. I don't need it. And it doesn't motivate me. What motivates me is the people that are still listening. You, that didn't turn off because you want to listen and learn. Because you know there's something different about me. I love what I'm doing. I'm not getting paid to do this. There's no ads playing. There's no pop-up saying, skip this video in 5 seconds. I love this. I love doing it. I care about your results. And I know I'm never going to meet you, but I know that the students that are really resonating with what I'm doing, your life is going to change in a way that you can't even imagine. And it's not just going to be for trading. It's going to give you self-control over yourself. It's going to give you a means of focusing on a task and seeing it through, sticking to it, and understanding there's going to be hardships. There's going to be problems that come up, unexpected twists of events that doesn't really help the cause that you're trying to go after. But you endure it and you grow from it. And when things do happen outside of what your expectations were, you don't go in with a negative mindset to beat yourself up about, oh, I wish I would have done this. Oh, I wish I would have done that. Oh, I wish this wouldn't have happened to me. It's, this is what happened. What can I take away from that for learning experience? And how do I prevent and mitigate it from ever occurring to this level again? That is how you live. That's life. Life is not promising you ease. And just because you're learning from me, I'm not promising you you're going to have profitability that's going to come to you easily. There are some of you that right now feel strongly about what you're learning, and yet you still will fail. And I'm not going to pull that punch. I'm not trying to sell you the books. I'm not trying to sell you a future mentorship. I'm not trying to sell you a subscription on my YouTube channel. And I don't care if you follow me here. I'm being honest with you. But those same individuals that would encounter that failure, you can change that too. But you have to put work into it, and you have to put the work that nobody wants to talk about in their courses. They just want you believing their bullshit, subscribing to their worship session, and you have to be your own cheerleader. So if you want to worship somebody and cheerlead on somebody and raise somebody's name up, do it when you feel like you need it. And guess what? There ain't nothing wrong with that, folks. You got to preach to yourself sometimes. You got to say, you know what? This is hard. And guess what? If it was easy, everybody else would be doing it. But I deserve this. I'm working towards this. It ain't going to be gifted to me. It ain't going to just fall into my lap. I'm earning this. So nobody can talk bad about what I'm doing. I'm working towards it. Just like a college degree, like a master's degree, like a doctorate. You're going to be, I don't know what you're trying to be, and some of you are in school. That's admirable. The tenacity that's required to stick with that is admirable. But in this, it's got to be even more than that. See, in this, it's not just tuition and trying to get the passing grade. It's survival here. And when you don't survive, it weighs heavily. It's not like, oh, I'll go to college. I went to college. I did all the things I'm supposed to do to become a systems analyst in computer programming. And I did all that. I had really high math, really high science. And I was advanced as a child because I was pouring myself into these things before school would ever even consider it. In sixth grade, I was making my own video games with BASIC, the language. I stayed after school and stayed in my math teacher's classroom to work on coding because I wanted to be better than everybody else. And nobody else wanted to do what I was doing in class. But I wanted to be on the computers every opportunity I could. And I cut grass, I saved up money, and I got my own personal computer. And that's what I was doing. When everybody else was playing football and playing baseball and doing soccer and all the other stuff that normal kids would do, I was in there coding. Now, I didn't know anything about the markets then, but that's where I was. That's how I've always been. So I've been different. And I'm a mentor that could be making millions of dollars every single month doing what I've been doing for 6 years. And I want you to just take a step back and listen. Who else would do that? I'm not trying to virtue signal. I'm not trying to say, look at me, I'm the GOAT because I'm doing that. I want you to understand what my motivations are. And don't lose sight of what I've been telling everybody. Shit is about to get really hard. And I don't feel comfortable saying, you know what? You're going to need to make more money and different ways of making money. It's going to get hard. Here, pay me and I'll teach you how to do that. That's disingenuous. But because I'm willing to do that doesn't entitle you to the same level of analysis that my private group gets. The beforehand, they earned that because they trusted me and they paid for it, frankly. Here, I do way above what would be reasonable and expected in terms of free education. And I love doing it. And it works. Look around. There's people that are doing all these things that are now making money. They're not solicited. I don't pay these people to do that. I don't have any affiliate relationship with any of these funded accounts. And believe me, they'll tell you if you ask them, because some of them reach out to me all the time. Hey, can you? No, I'm not. I'm not repping any of you. Just sit back. My students will probably be using your service and then they can rep you. What other mentor, let me say it this way because I gotta be careful. What other concepts do you see all these funded account people getting their accounts and then getting withdrawals? What other concepts do you see outside of mine? They may have their own little twist of their name, but they're teaching my stuff. But they're learning what I have authored. Now, I don't like how they did it, but the students that have done well, I'm happy for them. The people that are trying to get credit for themselves, like they learned it on their own, they're the ones that I have an issue with because they're doing it all the wrong ways. And I understand they're trying to they have a hustle, but their hustle is really flawed because they're really not going to have the credit once people wake up to who they are and what they're doing. They'll start smacking them around, and they don't care. They want that fast money right now. But the people that are learning what it is that I've released into the world, that stuff that's making them real money, you can't argue against that. There's a lot of people out there teaching all kinds of stuff. But where's the proof that this stuff works? That was the proof I've always wanted. I wanted that proof. I want to be that mentor. I don't want to be the person that says, oh, no, I make lots of money because I've taught. No, I'm the mentor you want to have because I'm not going to lie to you about how hard it's going to be for you, all of you. But I'm also the mentor that's going to be able to say, I could be getting rich off of you, but I don't want to. And in my eyes, coming up the way I did, that's the person I would have latched onto. That's the person I would say, you know what? I may not agree with everything they say. I may not agree with their delivery method. He may not say the things I want to hear, but I know what he's saying is impactful. He endured something. He learned from that. So I might not feel that it's applicable right now in my own development, but I know it's noteworthy because he is talking about it. And now I'm talking about it a lot longer than I wanted to when I first sat down with this space. If you were here with me one-on-one, like I was doing in the 90s, This is exactly what majority of the time was going to be like. This is it. Not one of those individuals ever sat up and said, you know what? I got to go. This was a waste. This was the things that they leaned on afterwards when they started engaging, pushing a button. These are the things they came back to and said, you know what? That conversation we had about this, or that conversation and that session we had about that really came to fruition and resonated with me today because I leaned on that logic because I needed it. And I can't imagine how I would have been able to endure had it not took place and I was a participant in that conversation. See, I'm talking to my children right now. You just had the benefit of thinking I'm talking to you. My children. That's what this message is for. So when I talk to them, I absolutely love them enough to pour everything I have about knowing what they should and shouldn't do. And that's why it's genuine to you, because it's meant to be genuine. It's real. I'm doing this out of love. But you have the benefit of being permitted to listen to it. That's why I'm different. That's why when you listen to me, I sound sincere, because I am. My audience is my children. All those videos I made on YouTube, all the videos I made in mentorship, they're not for you. They're for them. And I say it multiple times throughout the years I've been doing it. But that's why it feels like I'm talking to you. And it feels like we have a relationship like that because you are coming to me with an expectation. You want to be taught and you want me to care about your results. I do. As a student, I want you to do very, very well. But have in mind also that when I'm speaking, I have my children's faces in mind. I'm talking sometimes to one specific child about certain things that they're wrestling with, or I know they're about to wrestle with. And I'm going after that in our conversation. Well, it's not really a conversation, but the jawboning session like this. So I understand the unique position I'm in. I'm not oblivious to how some of you can take that out of context and lift me up as a hero or look at me as someone that's not worth having the attention placed on. I don't care either way. I don't like when I'm worshipped, but I don't care when people disagree with what I say and don't think I teach appropriate things. But you have to know, where are your boundaries? I know where mine are. Do you know where yours are? I know that this morning wasn't going to give me the conditions that would be the ideal model conditions. And I'll leave it up to you to discern whether or not it was offering very clean, symmetrical price action. Sure, market's gyrated around, it's moved around, done all kinds of things. But has it done what this model calls for? No. Should you be upset about that? Some students would be. ICT, you said this repeats every day. It repeats every day in some asset. It's there every single day. But your market might not be the market it creates the setup in. And you have to know that it's fine. It'll come when it's supposed to. But here's the wonderful thing. I didn't fall victim to anything today because I have a rule. After bank holidays, I watch, I observe. Is the market still booking price in the manner I would expect? Dollar went higher, so does the S&P sell off? Not so much. After it ran up initially, yeah. But it has yet to take out that 3740 level. That's my interest. That's the level I'm interested in this week. How's that useful? Well, if I don't have a setup come Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the morning, I have to pull all interest in taking any trades. That's how I operate. Doesn't mean it won't pan out later in the week. It won't deliver on Thursday or maybe even Wednesday afternoon. That would be a missed opportunity for me. I'm okay with that. You're probably not going to have that comfort or willingness to say, okay, I missed that move. You'll probably go crazy because it went down to 3740 on a level that was obvious. It was framework was there, but that's not a trade I would take. because it's outside the rules that I've placed on myself for this particular week, non-farm payroll week. Why do I operate like this? Because Thursday and going into Friday, non-farm payroll release at 8:30, the market can be very choppy, aimless, and just do things that are uncharacteristic to what it is I'm looking for in price action. So if I know that these climates in that economic calendar for that particular week every single month are likely to bring those adversities, why would I want to risk money in that when I know there's times when it's not like that? And I'm looking for those in instances where the market's almost inviting me. Hey, look, I'm going to do that thing you're used to seeing. Come over here and get this. Versus, what the hell's going on? Why is it doing that when it should be doing this? All right, I'm going to arm wrestle you. That was 20-year-old ICT. It was an invitation to go out into the arena, bring my sword, leave my shield, because I was better than the average bear. I don't need to worry about defending myself. It was just get out there and buy it and expect limit up moves and blue ribbon results. And then I was the one being carried out on a stretcher. Every single time I was like that, that's what was the result. So you either live long enough to learn the lessons and be better because of it, or it takes you out of the game entirely. And I was fortunate enough to not ever want to lose my passion for this. And even though I had early on adversities that would have otherwise took the average person out of this and interest, completely remove it, I still wouldn't let go of it. And I think that's the reason why the Lord gave me obsessive compulsive. Because if I didn't have that, I don't think I would have stayed in this. Like, it would have been too painful for me to endure all the times where I lost my accounts, even doing it to myself as a 20-year-old. I would have never had the wherewithal to stay with it. I would have given it up way earlier than the dozens of times I said I was going to quit, but really was just me saving up money to get another account started. So there's a lot of lessons that, an experienced individual can give you, but they're going to be in the flavor that isn't going to be the most palatable when you're young or new, because you feel like they're not going to be useful to you until you start losing money. And then you're going to want to know the answers to those questions that are very pressing at that time. How do I stop the hemorrhaging? How do I stop myself from doing this to myself? See, many of you have never even traded outside of a demo yet. You don't even know what that feels like yet. Your first trade is going to be full of heart palpitations. Your palms are going to be sweating, and it doesn't matter how little of risk you're putting on. It's real now. It's a report card that none of you want to get the results for. You're scared. What if your first trade's a losing trade? How embarrassing will that be? Every single time I've ever opened an account since I was 20-some years old, I purposely throw the first trade. I just do something just to put it on there, and I close it after it puts a loss in. I do that. You know why I do that? It cancels out the necessity for me to be perfect. I'm sure that sounds silly in some of your ears. It's, well, why the hell would you want to do that? Because that's something I have to do, or I will wrestle with perfection. So if I start a new account, say I open up with a broker, I open up and all of a sudden, boom, I'm ready to go in there. I'm starting to trade. The first thing I do is throw one trade. I just toss it in. And that completely discharges my ego. It completely discharges my expectation on myself. And it frees me up to just focus on what it is I'm doing it for. Not, I can't have a losing first trade. I don't even worry about it. I make it to the first trade as a losing trade. There it is, done. I have mastered my ego by doing that very one thing. Whenever I start a new month, I do the same thing. Why? It's a rule for me. Now, I'm not saying I'm losing thousands and thousands of dollars, but I am taking a loss. And it's something I want to do because it sets me up in the right mindset that perfection is unrealistic. So if I can take that loss, knowing I'm going into it, taking that losing trade, guess what that's doing? It's reminding me that this business is all about managing losing trades. because every single trade is a losing trade until you close it in profit. When you open up a trade, you're under the spread, you're underneath the commissions. You got to come out of that. You have to trade your way out of every trade because they're all losing trades. Very, very rarely do you ever get in a trade right away. It jumps right from entry to no drawdown whatsoever. They happen, but largely majority of them are going to be, you got to overcome some kind of initial under the water type threshold, whether it be costs like commission or spread or initial drawdown from the entry. So one of the most freeing things I could have done for myself as a young man was give myself permission to do that very thing. And I got the idea from George Angel, which is also the guy that taught me that if I don't have a real good feel for the marketplace, but I know that the market's going to be moving and I'm just a little unsure about my bias, or I don't have a bias, but I'm expecting a lot of volatility for that day because a report's coming out, something to that effect, I will just put on a small position. I'll just toss something in the water and see how I react to that. If I put a short on, for instance, and back in the 90s, to say I went in and I put 2 contracts short. Okay. I'm watching to see how do I feel in that trade? Do I feel confident it's going to move in my favor? Or am I starting to feel like it's going to go against me and widen the loss? And that immediately gets me in alignment with the marketplace. Some of you would never even think to do that because you think that's wasted money. No, no, no. I'm just paying a premium for intel. When I first read that in his books, I was like, the hell is this guy smoking? You're telling me you're putting real money in the markets, knowing that you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you're just going to get a feel for what's going on? Look, I can do that by watching price. You can't. You cannot. It's not the same. You have a perspective that is much more meaningful when you put something on the line. And for instance, say you trade in Forex, put in the smallest leverage that your broker will permit you to do and see how much insight it gives you. Stop thinking about that MT4 screenshot being blue only. It doesn't matter if you have a little bit of red in here and there. What matters is, are you hemorrhaging money when you're losing it? Or are they controlled losses? Are those losses inside the boundaries that you've outlined for them? You have to have boundaries in every asset and facet of trading. The way you engage, the way you think, why you're doing something, why you're not going to be doing something, what prevents you from engaging a certain way or a certain time of the day or calendar week. And when you have those rules, stick to them. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about them. You have to adhere to them. When you're driving your car, how often do you got to go over on the other side of the road? You don't make it a practice to do it all the time, right? Hopefully. How about drinking and driving? Do you make it a practice to get up every morning and have 12 beers before you go to work and drive to work? Hopefully not. Speeding. I'm guilty of this one. So I'm going to be real careful how I say this one. But how many times do you want to go over the speed of 100 miles an hour? Probably not very often, but I can tell you it's on occasion happened. But I'm being honest, folks. Those rules are there for our protection and everyone else's protection. But your broker's not there to protect you. I'm not going to be there to save you. Your spouse isn't going to help you. Your children aren't going to certainly do anything to get you out of that situation. And those people in that chat room that you think are your friends, they don't give a shit about you or your results. They don't care. They don't care, folks. They're in there to get a withdrawal from all of you around them. They're not in there depositing anything good. They're in there to fluff themselves up or to cope. They're in there to get a dose of copium because they're losing. And they want to be around other people that they can see are losing too. And they can talk down to you, even if it sounds like they're doing something admirable, saying, oh, don't worry, stick to it. Stick to it. You'll do better. Meanwhile, they're blowing out their account. They're between accounts. They don't have money to put back in an account, but they're giving you advice. And you don't know what they're doing. And you might feel, oh, this person's really nice. He talks to me, or she talks to me, encourages me. This person's probably a losing trader. That's why I don't like chat rooms. That's why I don't like Discord rooms. That's why I don't like all those types of things, because they feed negativity. It doesn't give you a benefit of being there. Now, there are times where there are individuals that are genuinely interested in helping other people, and they're showing their prowess. They're calling a move, they outline a move, they explain what's going on, why it should take place. If you're in an environment where it's like that, and you don't have the opinions of others also, like if it's a free for all, everybody can talk, then I think that's a bad place for you to be. But if you're amongst someone that has a skill set that they're showcasing and they're walking you through the marketplace and they're proving prowess, then that's not a wasted environment. That's something that could be beneficial to you. But unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of that going on. And they do exist, but largely it's not like that. Usually it's some kind of a forum where everybody can chit chat. And I know when you're new, because this is what I thought too. I'm going to say this. I'm going to close this session. When I was on America Online, I would join so many message boards and forums, online, because I was looking for that person that I am today, and I never found them. So I couldn't find them, so I became the person I was looking for. When you join these chat rooms, you're thinking that someone's going to be very nice and help you out, and they're going to do it out of the kindness of their heart. And I never found that to be true. I got the same regurgitated crap advice that I already had in all the books I wasted money on. I stopped buying books. 2016 books. I never, ever, ever bought another financial book after that one. That was it. Done. The books that I say that are beneficial, I put on a video on my YouTube channel. That's it. They're the only ones. And I have just about every book you're going to ever come up with, unless it was released after 2016. I probably have it. And I've read some of them multiple times. And mostly it's because it's sentimental value that I went through that crap. But if someone stole them from me, I wouldn't care. Would I buy the books that I mentioned on my YouTube channel again if my books were stolen? Yes. I think they're valuable. I think there's useful information in them. There is no book out there that's going to give you everything. There isn't an author out there that's going to give you all the pieces. And I try to teach with that mindset. I try to cover everything. And a lot of that is going to be the things that you don't feel are valuable right now. Managing losing trades, how to avoid market trading environments that aren't going to be favorable, because you're wired to think, what? Go, 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 baby. Push the button, push the button, push the button. Well, I believe I'm better than the average bear. But if I go in every single day wanting to just simply push the button, I'm not going to have the results that I want and that would otherwise be expected of someone in my position. So hopefully in the closing of this Twitter space, you can see why I would be talking about these types of things, because it's important for you to know where your limitations should be, why it's beneficial for you to not want to do something every single day, because it's more profitable to do that. If you can avoid the times when you're likely to have adverse results, you are ahead of the game. And I mean across the board, because everybody has a way of making money. You can make money with Elliott Wave. You can make money with supply and demand. You can make money with black box garbage. Okay? Shark patterns and bat patterns and all this other nonsense. There's always a gimmick that you can use to justify why you made money. But nobody has a system where it says, avoid this. Our daily life has all of that. One way. Don't enter. Wrong way. Speed limit. Here's the yellow line. Don't cross it. If it's dashed, you can cross it. But if it's double solid line, don't cross it. No U-turns here. Are you cussing at every sign? You probably do when you need to make a U-turn. Or if you're in a hurry and you know that sign's just suggesting that's probably the safest speed to go into, but you're not worried about that because you're late for work, because you didn't do something beforehand. You stayed up too late. You colored outside the lines. You broke your rules. You didn't set the alarm. You didn't make sure that alarm was set. Everything has a reason for why it happens. And you have to have a way of mitigating those circumstances in trading, preventing the opportunity for majority of your losses. You're going to lose, but the times where you're going to blow your account are going to be in times where you knew damn well you should not have done that, and you want to fix it right away because you don't want to go home with a losing trade. And then you parlay that little boo-boo, that little mistake, into something that completely blows your account. I can tell you, every single time I blew an account, they always were on the heels of one little boo-boo that I wish I wouldn't have done. And I tried to fix it, and that became a paper cut into an open wound that even stitches couldn't even handle. So I'll leave it up to you whether you decide this was a beneficial space or not. It's not a feel-good moment. It's not a discussion that is a happy one. It doesn't make you feel empowered. It makes you take inventory. Are you doing the right things? Are you thinking correctly? And are you avoiding when you're likely to lose? Until next time, be safe.